We're super excited that you guys are here, and Lori is going to take it away.
Awesome. Good morning. I've got some people in my background here trying to be quiet, but we got loud. It's okay. We're having a party on our end. So good morning, everybody. Good to see you all. So today we are going to be talking about a topic that comes up quite a bit on our coaching calls with our clients. And that is, I am so overwhelmed. I don't have time to think about myself. I put myself on the back burner. And so this is where what's really cool about what we get to do is offer a new perspective, right? You guys hear that a lot. Like, can I offer you a new perspective? And as a coach, like that's really our primary job for you. And so that's why it's also really important to stay closely connected with your coach, because we've lived like a lifetime with these habits and these programs and what we believe to be, the way it should be. Sometimes it's hard to ask for help, right? Sometimes it's hard, but you guys, I can't encourage you enough. You all signed up for this program for a reason, and that's because you got goals and you want to achieve those goals. And so we do this as a partnership together. So I cannot encourage you enough to just utilize your support team, utilize your healthy community. And we're gonna just dive right in. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's see here. All right. So put a 1 in the chat if you ever feel overwhelmed. Have you ever said that out loud? Right? And you think about these things, like what are some of the things that overwhelm you? Let's put that in the chat as well. I would love to see, what are some of those things that are creating that underlying, and these are just some things that bullet points I put together really quick here as I was thinking about it. Some of our client calls, work is a really big one. Sometimes they fall in love with this career path, they get there and that's not what it was cracked up to be. And then they're just like, oh my gosh, now what? And so then we've got all these underlying things that are kind of distracting us and frustrating us, like, what am I doing here? And is this really what I want for the rest of my life? And I'm overworked. I'm working the position of like 3 people and they're piling all this work on me, right? All kinds of different stresses. Sometimes finances create that overwhelm. Sometimes school, I'm trying to go through school and earn my degree and raise children and all of those things. Sometimes your marriage is a big source of stress. Having that mom guilt, I know for myself, is a really big one as we are raising children and feeling like I'm being torn in so many directions. Am I doing the best job I can do? So one of the things that I have loved about Optavia and the Habits of Health is that it has really helped us with stress management and really just that emotional management and figuring out, where we're at, what am I in control of, what is out of my control, and what's next. And so I am going to stop share here, and I'm going to bring on the lovely Sunny Kane. When I think about this topic, I think about Sunny because she is just a beautiful friend, and I love her openness. She's definitely a verbal processor, and I appreciate that because, when I'm hearing what she's going through, it helps me as her coach to be able to help, offer a new perspective and help her to challenge her thought processes. And so she has grown so much in this area, as we all have, but I thought her insight could really assist a lot of you all today. So Sunny, take it away, darling.
Well, good morning. I'm glad you said that you thought of me because, all the nice stuff, because I was like, she's going to say this girl had a truckload of overwhelm. And when she says that I was a verbal processor, what she means is that when I first started this program, you guys, I would dump on Lori and my entire team all the time these long messages about my hard days and how, this happened at work and then this happened at her work and blah, 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 people, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, I ate pizza, so, oh my goodness. So that's probably why I come to mind, but it's so funny. That's what's so amazing about our program is when I first started this program, you guys, I came in really on Operation Get Skinny. That was kind of my hope and goal, was that I would just get skinny. And that was my view of health at the time. But I realized pretty quickly that this community was more of that invitation to massive personal growth. And at first, when I started, I was motivated. I had decided to be in, I was excited. It was awesome. And then until I hit the hard days, and just so you know, I was a busy chick at the time. I worked at a church. I was a pastor there. I ran a ministry outside of that. And so I just had, and I've got lots of kids. So we had everything that you can imagine. So stressful days were bound to come. But what would happen is overwhelm would queue up in my life regularly. I'm telling you, overwhelm happened a lot on my emotional days. It was kind of my go-to emotion. And overwhelm really for me was a cue to quit. And that what I would say is overwhelm impacted more than my diet, right? It impacted more than my food choices. Overwhelm was impacting a lot. Overwhelm is I would run and make poor financial decisions when I was overwhelmed because I wanted to make myself feel better. So I was friends with Zaya leggings and I would just buy more Zaya leggings, or I'm overwhelmed. It would be my just cue to quit. It would be my cue to eat pizza. It would be my cue to have a Diet Pepsi. It would be my cue to, at night have a glass of wine. Ultimately, it was my cue to quit. And so as I came in with the coaches on my team, and really pressed in, because see, if your coaches don't know where you are at, and they think that you're like, everything's fine, or you go into hiding because you're overwhelmed, you actually can't get unstuck, because the pattern of overwhelm for me is a place I had been stuck for a really long time. One thing I really began working on with my team was how do I shift overwhelm from a cue to quit to a cue for curiosity? And that has been my biggest breakthrough and something I still use today. And what does that mean to shift it to a cue to curiosity? Really, this means I had to get out of reaction in my life and just reacting to the things that happened and get into really intentional action in my life. And that meant some of these intentional questions. So now I feel overwhelmed and I still get it, right? I do it a whole lot less, but I still have that feeling show up in my life. But now when I feel it, I go, that's my cue for curiosity. What's going on here? I ask myself some of these questions. I hope some of them might be helpful for you. What am I feeling? Sometimes we're just running from our actual feeling. And sometimes we just need to name that. Otherwise, it owns us. So take a moment. What am I actually feeling? Stop for a minute. What am I needing in this moment? Sometimes that was like, I felt like I needed validation in a moment in a hard meeting at work. And guess what? That was something I could go ask for someone else. But I had to ask myself, what am I feeling and what am I needing? Also, I would ask myself, is there another way to think about this? Whatever the situation is there another way to think about this? Because see, overwhelm is actually an indicator that you are outside of your comfort zone. Hallelujah. Where we all want to be. You don't know, nothing ever good happens inside the comfort zone. It's always outside. So overwhelm kind of became exciting for me. Another thing that I would say is the biggest shift for me is the question, and this was what was crowding my life the most often, is there something or someone on my schedule that I need to say no to? And I would say, you guys, I always say to myself, do I know my schedule? And when I say no, I don't mean KNOW. I mean, do I know my schedule today? And because see, I was saying yes to people and things that were robbing me of peace and sanity and my ultimate goals. And it meant that I had to get comfortable with saying no to people because of what I was saying yes to. My health matters. Listen, I found this quote today I want to share with you. Self-care, some of us have this belief that self-care is bad. And like, it's bad to take care of yourself. I should be loving other people. I should be caring for my family. I should be, all of the things to all of the people. But self-care is never a selfish act. It is simply good stewardship of the only gift I have to give to the world, the gift I was put on earth to offer others. And ultimately, that is you. You are all you have to give. If you don't take care of you, then who else is going to? Like, it is your job. It's my job to take care of me. Take responsibility. I had to learn the MYOB, mind my own business. And I meant mind my own business as in my business is my own responsibility, is my own health, my own emotional management. And I was just a hot mess when I came in, and Overwhelm was like, oh boy, Lori, I'm glad you still love me, because I was crazy. Well, just a few more questions I would ask myself is, last thing on the calendar thing, by the way, you guys, the schedule. I just want to say this little thing, maybe somebody needs to hear today. You are not a victim to your calendar. You made it. You made it. You're the one who allows things and permits things to come in there. You do not have to do everything. Nobody can. Having limits is a gift. All right. You are not Superwoman. You are not Superman. Everybody has the same amount of hours in the day, and we just have to learn how to manage it and not be victims to it. And then another question is there an action I could take today that would help? Sometimes overwhelm is because you have the attack of the thought bubbles. There's just too many thought bubbles in your head spinning. And sometimes if I just pop one by doing an action, it lets every other one move about the cabin in my brain and I'm good. So maybe if there's an action you need to take. And do I need to learn something to increase my capacity? And overall, you guys, I had to learn to ask for help and reach out to my coach, which thank goodness for Optavia in this. I'll close with this. I went from overwhelm being my cue to quit to my cue for curiosity, and curiosity helped me to choose my way through overwhelm instead of allowing overwhelm to, take me out of the field of my dreams. Our choices today, you guys, they're tied to a future reality. They are whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And so the question becomes, do you want your overwhelm? Do you want your hard day? Do you even want the pink donut box in the office? Do you want those things to dictate your future? Because if we don't slow down and get out of reaction, that is why we keep seeing the same cycle of the same year over and over and over and over again. So, we get the opportunity to redirect our choices. That really is the way out of overwhelm. And anyways, with that, I think that that's probably the biggest thing. And also, I can't help but say it. It's also been this Optavia community. It's being that I went next level by becoming a coach and giving this away to others. Because when I found my way out of overwhelm, people were like, what's up with Sunny? She's got this peace in her life. What's that all about? And I wanted to help give other people that peace too. And in giving that gift away, it took me next level by getting to hang out with coaches like Lori more often. And she's just continued to help me level up and level up and level up and level up. And that just never stops. So my family's thankful. I'm grateful. And anyways, so hopefully my little overwhelmed old self can be an encouragement to you if that's where you find yourself today. Overwhelmed is a choice, and you can make new choices to find your way out of that.
Boom. Thank you. Thank you, Sunny. Do y'all know why I asked her to share? Because she is stellar at this. And the overwhelm doesn't go away if we don't tackle it. You know what I mean? Like just going in with that structure, like we were talking about last week, structure versus emotion. She asks herself those questions now, instead of the old, I'll speak for myself here, instead of the old me that was completely spinning all the time, that was just my habit cycle. And what I had to learn was if I stop, challenge, and choose, right? I'm going to stop. I'm going to ask myself those series of questions, and I'm going to say, what am I in control of and what is out of my control? And then I'm going to take charge of what I'm in control of. And the way I'm going to react is really one of those things that I am in control of, right? You guys, this has been life-changing for me. It's been life-changing for Sunny. Are we perfect at it? Heck no. However, that's why I love our community so much, is that when we're part of this community, we keep showing up for this community, and this community keeps showing up for us. Do you see that? Sometimes in life, I think back at all my go-to friends that I used to go to kind of go vent and kind of complain about my life and complain about my overwhelm. And they were just like coddling me and allowing me to just stay in that space of victim, which I didn't want to be in. I just didn't know any other way to be, right? I didn't want to live in that space. But this is what's so beautiful in our community. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a whole new way of looking at life, right? And so for me, that is a gift. For Sunny, that is a gift. And that is why we like to give it away, because, you know, yes, we came here to just lose weight, but what we have gained is this, it's life skill. And I'm just encouraging you and just honestly congratulating you all for even just being here and showing up for yourself today, because that shows that you want to learn, right? So let's, you know, dive in a little bit deeper here with this overwhelm as a choice concept. And we don't like that, do we, Sunny? We don't like when we call each other on that crap. We're just
No, it ticks me off every time when you say overwhelmed is a choice. I'm like, shut up. I don't want to hear that.
we don't like this. So just forewarning you. So Sunny had a list of wonderful questions, and then I just came up with a couple more, right? So what is in my control and what is out of my control? Okay. Am I in a victim state right now? You guys, this is, again, we are leading you back to structure and just allowing yourself to ask you these really important questions. And then if I am, how can I get myself into that empowered state again? Right. And so this is what we're really going to dive heavy into next week. My favorite elements in the life book 4 and 5. And that's why last week I told you that's what I really want you guys to focus 2 weeks on reading and really diving into, because it can be life-changing if you actually apply it. It's kind of like, we don't want you to just be book smart. I've got a lot of clients that are like, oh yeah, I read the entire life book and the habits of health in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, we're doing that all over again, but we're actually going to ingest the information and apply it, right? We're not going to just be book smart. We want to be street smart. We want to jump in to this information and really start applying it in our home life, in our work life, all of the things. Okay. And then you get to choose. So we get to apply stop, challenge, choose to our eating habits. We get to apply stop, challenge, choose to the way we're going to show up in this world. And these are the biggest things that my coach did for me, right? Whenever I was kind of going through stuff like I'm overwhelmed, I can't do this, da, da, da. Okay. He used to always say to me, and he still does, you create your experience. Okay. Which means, and I don't like it when he says that to me either, but it helps me to stop and get out of that reactive state and just say, you know what? I'm going to create my experience. I'm the dominant force in my life. Now, when I say dominant force in my life, I'm not meaning from a spiritual realm. I'm saying I'm going to be dominant force in my life that's going to get my booty out of bed and make my choices today. That's what I mean by that. Okay. I'm the dominant force that is going to lay out all of my fuelings and eat them every 2.5 to 3 hours. I'm the dominant force in my life that's going to say, I'm going to fill up my 64 ounces of water and every drop's going to be gone. Why? Because I'm important enough to do that. I'm the dominant force in my life that I get to lay out my calendar and actually allow it to, what did you say? I'm not going to be a victim to my calendar, just like Sunny said, right? I'm the dominant force that has to do those things, you guys. We have to take personal responsibility for our day, for our reactions, for what we want to create in our life. Okay, so I wanted to clarify that meaning, because sometimes people are like, no, I'm not the dominant force, because whatever it is that your religious beliefs, of course, the higher being is the dominant force in your life. That's that. But we do have to take that personal responsibility for ourselves as well, to actually take action steps to get ourselves out of bed and create the best life that we can possibly create. Okay. So let's talk about setting some boundaries. Okay. Now, sometimes we ask ourselves, why is it so hard to set boundaries? Why is it so hard to say no? Why is it so hard? All these things, right? Sometimes, just like everything, it stems from our childhood, right? Maybe we didn't see healthy boundaries set before us. And so that's what we see as normal. Okay. It could be that. I'm not saying blame your parents. Our parents did the best they could with what they've been given. However, we get to say, again, I get to be the dominant force in my life. I get to draw a line in the sand and say, this is what my future is going to look like. This is the example I'm going to set for my children. I don't need to take that past into my future. Right? I'm going to take the wonderful things of my past into my future, and I'm going to create my future to be the way I want it to look now. Okay. And that's where we start setting those limits, and looking at boundaries as not being that you're depriving yourself of things, not you're controlling that you're feeling controlled by it. Sometimes people feel that that's what it is, and that's a negative thing. Last week's call was all about what was it? Somebody help me here. Deprivation versus what was it? Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Throw it in the chat. Help me.
Discipline.
Discipline. Thank you. Discipline versus deprivation, right? So that's what we're looking at. And Carter did a beautiful job talking about the disciplines and how it's actually a gift that you give to yourself. All right. So these again are just new perspectives that we get to offer. So before I go into this, actually, I'm going to stop share. I've got some lovely ladies sitting behind the scenes here that have come to stay with us, and they are clients of the program who have decided to become coaches. And we were just talking yesterday. They came from Texas, and we were just talking a lot about like their cultural, just how their culture is very food focused and how they've established healthy boundaries in their healthy body that helped them to accomplish their goals. So take it away, ladies.
Gosh, after Sunny and Lori, it's like, oh my gosh. Hi guys, I'm Aisha. Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary.
So we were talking last night, and yes, our culture is absolutely very food focused. And for one of the things that I had to learn through the program is asking for support, because I've always been very strong and independent, and to just kind of stop, again, challenge myself to really get real with myself of what do I need, and then to choose to ask for support. So for example, my husband, he's a typical Desi man. At night, he likes to have his chips or his snacks or whatever while we're watching TV on the couch. No wonder I put on weight. And I had to actually have that conversation with him and go, honey, I really need your help, because right now I don't feel strong enough to be able to resist snacking with you. And I know I should. However, that's not where I am right now. And if you see me doing something, I would love for you to just remind me of what my goal is. So it was really wonderful for us to kind of take this journey together and to have his support on that, and to kind of just draw a boundary that, no, this is important to me, and I really need your support on this, and please help me with this. And then when we go out for dinner, so Marina I've known for quite a while before we both got on program. And again, in our culture, it's all about food and feeding, and that's how we show love. You know, you think the Italians and Pakistanis are related because it's the very same culture. And I would go over, and Mary, remember, she would cook these. She's an amazing cook, by the way. She cooks incredible meals. And she'd be like, Aisha, don't you want this? And don't you want? And I'd be like sitting there doing my leaning, going, thank you. No, I'm not gonna have this right now. And how did you feel when that happened? Right?
Yeah, I mean, she had just started the program. I had no idea what program she was on, and initially I got a bit offended. I was like, okay, I know you're in a healthy program. How about some fruit? No, I can't have fruit. And I'm like, okay, what kind of? And then I was like, hey, I have something with chickpeas. Chickpeas are healthy. I had no clue. So she's like, no, I cannot have chickpeas. And I'm like, so you're not gonna eat anything in my house? She's like, Marian, I'm really sorry, but I can't. And at that point, I was a bit offended. But then when I started seeing her results and what it was doing to her, and I just admired her, her discipline and her self-control, that there were so many temptations in front of her, and she just brought her little lean and green meal with her. She ate that, and while everyone else was enjoying all the other things. So yeah, it was super impressive.
And so again, it was drawing the boundary. Like, even though it was a boundary, and it was hard to do,
Yeah.
because the social setting is
And
very hard
she
to do
knew
that.
it might offend me, because that's how our culture is. But she still stood her ground, and she said.
And then how did it feel for you when you got on program? And then remember, you went to your father-in-law's
Yeah.
place?
So when I started program, for me, it was more because I was having a lot of health issues. I had major acid reflux. I couldn't sleep at night. I had to avoid a lot of spicy food and just lots of things. So when I started, and I had to go to my in-laws, and my father-in-law was really kind of insulted, because I would bring my food to his house, or I would say, I cannot eat what you have made. And he was like, so what are you going to eat? I was like, I'll eat my own food and I'm happy. He's like, but we're here to eat. And I would be like, no, we're not here to eat. We're here to enjoy each other's company. It's not about the food. So the first few days he didn't understand, but 1 month later, when he saw my results, he was the first one from the family to come up to me and say that, I'm so proud of you. You are doing so good. And I'm sorry that I, told you that you're doing just another diet and you're just going to ruin your health. And you're way more healthy than I thought. And that was a big win for me when he said that, I'm so proud of you.
And how did it feel to set that boundary? Like, was it easy to set that boundary?
Initially, no, but the first time you say no, it becomes so liberating. You're like, I did it, I said it, it's for me. And then when you see the results, that's when you realize I did it for this, and it just makes you feel so good. So at that point, you might not feel it, but just you're gonna see it later on, and you'll thank yourself for setting those boundaries at that time.
Yeah.
And how is your overall health now?
Amazing. I don't have to put 2 pillows to prop myself up at night. I sleep on a normal bed. Before that, I didn't have that bed that inclines, but I put up like books and pillows under my side, and my husband was super annoyed with me because he's like, I can't even come close to you because your side is like a mountain. That's how I used to sleep. When I used to pray, I could not bend down because I felt like all my food is coming back up. Within 3 days of being on the program, I called Aisha. I was like, I am already seeing results. I can pray, but I had to sit down on a chair. That's how my mother, she's 73. That's how she prays right now, on a table and all. And that's how I was doing it. And within 3 days of being on the program, I could stand up and literally bend down and do all of that stuff. So for me, I didn't really care about the weight loss. I was like, yeah, that's going to happen. But I'm seeing these amazing things that are happening to me within the first week.
Yeah, amazing. And then how about you? How much have you lost?
We went for a walk, did we yesterday?
Yeah.
I was not out of breath, not once. And that was huge for me because I remember when I started, I was not able to walk even 10 minutes without needing to sit down.
Yeah.
So,
And this wasn't a regular
and
walk.
this wasn't regular, this is up and down hills and stuff.
like,
And
yeah.
I was like, I killed it. I was like, yeah.
You sure did. And how much did you lose total?
70 pounds.
70 pounds, guys, 70 pounds. And what is so beautiful about this is that, thank you, ladies, very, very much. What's so beautiful about this is that when you're focusing, you know how we were talking about focusing on the dot, when you're focusing on yourself in this way, it's not selfish. Because these ladies have set that healthy boundary, it's hard, you guys, it is challenging. We're not used to saying no, thank you. We're used to pleasing everybody else. And then who's suffering on the other end of that? We are, right? It's important. These things are not selfish. These things are so important because when you show up as the best you, I mean, these ladies flew in from Texas and they are just celebrating their life. They're wanting to help other people celebrate their life because now we've got something that works and you all deserve this. I just want you to know it's just looking at life a little bit differently. All right, that's all it is. So we've got 3 minutes and this is a very helpful tool that for some reason, there we go, that is hopefully gonna help you guys just with a little bit of structure. I'm gonna kind of go through this real quickly. So what I like to do is take a look at my week at a glance and you could do this on Excel or just a plain piece of paper. All right. And I encourage you because like Sunny was saying, you kind of have to learn to know your schedule, N-O. All right. So put all of your priorities down first, the things that are the non-negotiables. I like to do this on paper first as you are establishing this concept, because sometimes it's like, oh, I just have no time. Okay. That's not true. You're giving permission to that because you're saying that out loud. So put everything that's a non-negotiable. And then what you're going to do is focus on where those little empty spaces are, where you can go to the grocery store and set yourself up for success, have food at home that's going to be serving you, stock up your freezer with your proteins and your vegetables in your refrigerator. Like that's something that is a priority to you because it's life-giving to you. It's going to help you. Okay. And then you can just look at it all on a calendar at a glance for the week, and then put in your healthy motion. Get out there and smell some fresh air, right? Get on your treadmill for 10 minutes. Do something that's going to be life-giving to you. Maybe you put in reading a book if that's important to you, and that keeps your frequency high. It's something you love. Sometimes we put ourselves on the back burner, the things that are the most important to us, we put on the back burner where really we should put those things first. Because if that is going to keep you in a good, strong, empowered state of mind, then you will make healthy choices. It's not going to be hard to do it. So that's one thing that you can control. We are out of time. So I think we can maybe continue this a little bit more next week, or maybe I'll do a live in our Healthy Together group this week, and we can keep that going. So anyway, I hope this brought you value today. Thank you to all of our speakers for just sharing your insight, what that's done for you guys. And anyway, have a great week, you guys, and just take some time maybe today to just lay out a calendar, print something out, look at everything that's your non-negotiable, and put some time in for you, because you deserve it. You need it. When you put your oxygen mask on first, then you're going to have more to give to others. All right. Love you all. Have a great day. Bye.